The entire history of China. Ancient to modern 4K documentary, The Timeless Dragon. For over 4 millennia, a civilization of unparalleled continuity and profound impact has shaped the destiny of nearly a fifth of humanity. From the mythical Yellow Emperor to the global superpower of today, China's story is an epic tapestry woven with innovation, philosophy, conflict, and rebirth. It is the narrative of a land and a people who have defied the passage of time, enduring countless changes while remaining distinctly, unmistakably Chinese. Join us as we journey through the entire sweep of its magnificent past, from the dawn of its ancient dynasties to its vibrant, complex present. This is the timeless history of China, the cradle of civilization and the mandate of heaven, pre-221 BCE. Our story begins in the fertile plains of the Yellow River Valley, often called the cradle of Chinese civilization. Here, around 4000 BCE, early agricultural communities began to flourish, eventually leading to complex societies. The earliest semi-mythical dynasty, the Xia dynasty, is said to have emerged around 2070 BCE, though archaeological evidence remains debated. The first historically confirmed dynasty is the Shang dynasty, from roughly 1600 to 1046 BCE. The Shang were masters of bronze casting, creating intricate vessels for rituals and warfare. Their cities were well organized, and their rule relied on a blend of military power and religious authority, communicating with ancestors through oracle bones. These bones bear the earliest forms of Chinese writing, a script that has continuously evolved for over 3 millennia. Following the Shang came the Zhou dynasty, ruling from 1046 to 256 BCE, making it the longest dynasty in Chinese history. The Zhou introduced the pivotal concept of the mandate of heaven, Tianming. This idea posited that the ruler, or son of heaven, governed by divine right, but only so long as he ruled justly and benevolently. If he failed, heaven would withdraw its mandate, signaling the right for a new dynasty to emerge. This philosophical framework would underpin Chinese political thought for millennia. The Zhou era, particularly its later periods, the Spring and Autumn, 771 to 476 BCE, and Warring States, 475 to 221 BCE, was a time of immense intellectual ferment. As central Zhou power weakened, rival states battled for supremacy, but this chaos simultaneously birthed China's greatest philosophical traditions. Thinkers like Confucius, Laozi, and Mencius sought to bring order to a disordered world. Confucianism emphasized filial piety, social harmony, and good governance through moral example. Taoism advocated for living in harmony with the natural order of the Tao. Legalism, in contrast, argued for strict laws and centralized authority to control human nature. These schools of thought would profoundly shape Chinese culture and governance. Imperial unity and golden ages, 221 BCE to 907 CE. After centuries of fragmentation, China was finally unified under the iron fist of Qin Shi Huang in 221 BCE. He declared himself the first emperor, ending the Warring States period and establishing the Qin dynasty. A legalist at heart, Qin Shi Huang implemented radical reforms, standardizing weights, measures, currency, and even the written script. He built extensive road networks and began the monumental task of linking existing defensive walls into what would become the Great Wall. His ruthless efficiency, however, came at a great human cost, leading to his dynasty's collapse after only 15 years, shortly after his death. Yet, he laid the foundational blueprint for a unified, centralized imperial China. The subsequent Han dynasty, 206 BCE to 220 CE, inherited much from the Qin but softened its legalist edge with Confucian principles. The Han period is considered a golden age, expanding China's territory, establishing the Silk Road, which connected east and west, and developing significant innovations in papermaking, cartography, and medicine. So profound was its influence that the majority ethnic group of China today still calls itself the Han Chinese. After the fall of the Han, China endured another long period of division, known as the Three Kingdoms and the Northern and Southern dynasties. This era saw the introduction and spread of Buddhism from India, profoundly influencing Chinese art, philosophy, and everyday life. Reunification came with the Sui dynasty, 581 to 618 CE, which, though short-lived, completed the Grand Canal, an engineering marvel connecting the Yellow and Yangtze rivers, vital for trade and communication. This paved the way for another glorious era, the Tang dynasty, 618 to 907 CE. Often hailed as China's most cosmopolitan and culturally vibrant dynasty, the Tang era was a period of immense prosperity, artistic flourishing, and technological advancement. Poetry reached its zenith with masters like Li Bai and Du Fu. Chang'an, the Tang capital, was the world's largest city, a melting pot of cultures. Buddhism thrived, trade boomed along the revitalized Silk Road, and China's influence spread across Asia. Innovation, conquest, and consolidation. 907 CE to 1644 CE. Following the Tang's decline, another period of fragmentation, the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms, preceded the Song dynasty, 960 to 1279 CE. The Song, though militarily weaker than some of its predecessors, oversaw an incredible age of innovation and economic prosperity. This was the era of the 4 great inventions of China: gunpowder, the compass, movable type printing, and papermaking. Though papermaking originated earlier, its widespread use and refinement peaked in the Song. Neo-Confucianism, a synthesis of Confucian, Taoist, and Buddhist thought, became the dominant state ideology. Urbanization surged, and a sophisticated merchant class emerged. However, the Song's military vulnerability proved its undoing. From the north, the formidable Mongol Empire, under Genghis Khan and his successors, swept across Eurasia. In 1271, Kublai Khan, Genghis's grandson, established the Yuan dynasty, 1271 to 1368 CE, becoming the first non-Han dynasty to rule all of China. The Mongols connected their vast empire through a postal system and fostered trade, but their alien rule eventually fueled resentment. A peasant uprising, led by Zhu Yuanzhang, overthrew the Yuan, establishing the Ming dynasty, 1368 to 1644 CE. The Ming restored Han Chinese rule and sought to erase Mongol influence. They rebuilt the Great Wall, constructed the magnificent Forbidden City in Beijing, and launched grand naval expeditions led by Admiral Zheng He, exploring as far as East Africa. These expeditions demonstrated China's naval might, but were later curtailed due to isolationist policies. The Ming saw a flourishing of literature, drama, and porcelain production. The last imperial dynasty and Western encroachment, 1644 CE to 1911 CE. The Ming dynasty eventually weakened, plagued by internal corruption, famines, and border incursions. Seizing this opportunity, the Manchu people from Manchuria swept down and established the Qing dynasty, 1644 to 1911 CE, China's last imperial dynasty. Despite being outsiders, the Qing adopted Chinese administrative practices and cultural traditions, reaching its zenith under emperors Kangxi, Yongzheng, and Qianlong. The Qing expanded China's territory to its greatest extent, encompassing Mongolia, Xinjiang, and Tibet. However, from the late 18th century, China faced increasing pressure from Western powers. British merchants, seeking to balance trade deficits, began illegally importing opium into China. The Qing government's attempts to suppress the drug trade led to the First Opium War, 1839 to 1842. China, with its technologically inferior military, was decisively defeated, forced to sign the humiliating Treaty of Nanjing, which ceded Hong Kong to Britain and opened several treaty ports. This marked the beginning of China's century of humiliation. Throughout the 19th century, more unequal treaties followed. Foreign powers carved out spheres of influence, and China suffered a series of internal rebellions, most notably the devastating Taiping Rebellion, 1850 to 1864, which cost millions of lives. The Qing court, often resistant to modernization and reform, struggled to respond effectively. The Boxer Rebellion, 1899 to 1901, an anti-foreign uprising, was brutally suppressed by an alliance of 8 foreign powers, further deepening China's humiliation. By the turn of the 20th century, the Qing dynasty was crumbling, its ancient imperial system unable to withstand the forces of modernity and foreign aggression. Revolution, Republic, and Civil War, 1911 CE to 1949 CE. The end of imperial China came with the Xinhai Revolution of 1911. Led by revolutionary visionary Sun Yat-sen, the revolution overthrew the Qing dynasty and established the Republic of China. Sun Yat-sen envisioned a modern, democratic China based on his 3 principles of the people: nationalism, democracy, and the people's livelihood. However, the fledgling republic struggled to consolidate power, facing warlordism and internal divisions. The early 20th century also saw the rise of new ideological forces. Inspired by the Russian Revolution, the Communist Party of China, CPC, was founded in 1921. Meanwhile, Sun Yat-sen's party, the Kuomintang, KMT, led by Chiang Kai-shek after Sun's death, initially allied with the Communists. However, ideological differences and a struggle for power soon led to a bitter Chinese civil war between the KMT nationalists and the CPC communists. This brutal conflict was interrupted by an even greater threat: Japanese aggression. Japan, seeking to expand its empire, invaded Manchuria in 1931 and launched a full-scale invasion of China in 1937, igniting the Second Sino-Japanese War. The war was marked by horrific atrocities, such as the Nanjing Massacre. During this period, the KMT and CPC reluctantly formed a united front against the Communist common enemy, though skirmishes between them still occurred. After Japan's defeat in 1945, the Chinese Civil War resumed with renewed ferocity. The communist forces, under the leadership of Mao Zedong, gained popular support particularly among the peasantry, and employed effective guerrilla tactics. Despite American support for the nationalists, the tide turned decisively in favor of the communists. In 1949, Chiang Kai-shek and his KMT government retreated to Taiwan, leaving mainland China under communist control. The People's Republic and Reform, 1949 CE, 1989 CE. On October 1, 1949, Mao Zedong proudly declared the establishment of the People's Republic of China, PRC, in Tiananmen Square. A new chapter in China's long history had begun, rooted in socialist ideology. The early years saw land reform, significant industrialization, and a strong sense of national pride. However, Mao's ambitious and often radical policies led to immense suffering. The Great Leap Forward, 1958 to 1962, an attempt to rapidly transform China into an industrial power through collectivization and mass mobilization, resulted in one of the deadliest famines in human history, costing tens of millions of lives. Later, in 1966, Mao launched the Cultural Revolution, a decade-long socio-political movement aimed at purging traditional and capitalist elements from Chinese society and consolidating his own power. It plunged China into chaos, destroyed cultural heritage, and led to persecution, imprisonment, and death for millions. After Mao's death in 1976, Deng Xiaoping emerged as China's paramount leader. Deng initiated a period of pragmatic economic reforms known as socialism with Chinese characteristics. He famously declared, "It doesn't matter whether a cat is black or white as long as it catches mice," signaling a shift away from strict ideology towards practical results. Deng opened China to foreign investment, dismantled agricultural communes, and fostered a market economy, albeit under strict Communist Party control. These reforms unleashed unprecedented economic growth, lifting hundreds of millions out of poverty and transforming China's global standing. However, political reform did not accompany economic liberalization. Calls for greater democracy and freedom culminated in the Tiananmen Square protests of 1989. These student-led demonstrations were met with a violent military crackdown, which shocked the world and drew widespread international condemnation. Modern China, rise of a superpower, 1989 CE, present. Despite the tragic events of Tiananmen, China's economic ascent continued at a blistering pace. Successive leaders like Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao oversaw China's entry into the World Trade Organization in 2001, further integrating it into the global economy. The 2008 Beijing Olympics served as a grand coming-out party, showcasing China's newfound power and ambition to the world. Under President Xi Jinping, who came to power in 2012, China has entered a new era. Xi has consolidated power, launched a far-reaching anti-corruption campaign, and promoted a vision of the China Dream, a powerful, prosperous, and culturally confident nation. China has invested heavily in infrastructure both domestically and abroad through initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative, connecting Asia, Africa, and Europe through trade and development. Today, China is the world's second-largest economy and a major player in global affairs. Its technological advancements in areas like artificial intelligence, 5G, and space exploration are reshaping industries worldwide. It boasts the world's largest standing army and is rapidly modernizing its military. However, this rapid ascent comes with complex challenges. Internally, issues of environmental pollution, social inequality, and human rights remain critical concerns. Externally, China's growing power has led to increased geopolitical tensions, particularly with the United States and its allies, regarding trade, technology, and regional security. The future trajectory of China, with its unique blend of authoritarian governance and dynamic economy, will undoubtedly be one of the defining stories of the 21st century. The enduring legacy. From the mythical Yellow Emperor to the global powerhouse of today, China's journey is a testament to human ingenuity, resilience, and the enduring power of a distinct cultural identity. Dynasties rose and fell, philosophies clashed and converged, and the nation faced periods of both unparalleled glory and profound suffering. Yet, through it all, the thread of Chinese civilization has remained unbroken. The stories of its sages, emperors, rebels, and innovators echo through the ages, reminding us that few nations have contributed so much to the human story. As China continues to navigate the complexities of the modern world, its ancient past remains a living presence, shaping its present and influencing its future. The dragon, awakened, continues its timeless flight, carrying with it the weight of millennia and the promise of tomorrow. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the entire history of China.